Hey guys! Here's the reason why the follow-up video on the Opterra build is a bit late. The first prop test just completely ripped out my whole engine mount. If I could rebuild that and how to fix that, we will see after the intro. Let's roll it! Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Here are the original nylon blades of the Opterra, and I used those for testing several engines on the original engine mount, and that caused vibrations and led to just ripping out the entire engine mount altogether. This is the original much smaller powertrain of the Parrot Disco, and it wouldn't produce enough thrust to get the heavier airframe of the Opterra with almost twice the weight and size up into the air, so we had to find a different solution here. For now we are testing on nylon blades since they're more forgiving in terms of vibrations, but the target is to use the carbon blades. They are more stiff, they're 11x6s, and they perform better at the same performance the engine puts out at the same RPM and same amp the engine draws compared to the nylon blades, since they are more stiff. And we have limitations how much we can allow the new engine to draw amps. The original powertrain of the Parrot Disco was much smaller, and the amp drawn by that powertrain was only 15-16 amps at 180 watts, and we have to somewhat try to stay close to that to not overstress the ECU and the Chuck flight control unit. The original engine mount of the Opterra is a bit weak, and because of some vibrations I had during first test, it was completely ripped out. And this is what I came up with: a new engine mount, squared off, same like the shape of the fuselage inside of the Opterra, and it snugly fits in there, so really no way to produce additional vibrations or any other problems the original engine mount actually caused. So the structural integrity of the new engine mount will be provided by the new one, where the original previous Opterra engine mount will function as a cover to reduce turbulences at the tail of the aircraft once the build is complete. Here we're looking side by side at the original powertrain of the Parrot Disco and the new Sunny Sky engine we chose for the Opterra build to get it up in the air. Here we're looking at the original engine of the Opterra, much bigger than the Sunny Sky and completely different size over the Parrot Disco. But yeah, that engine couldn't be provided by the ECU and flight control unit of the Parrot Disco. It was drawing too much amp, and the Parrot Disco flight control unit shut down. So we had to find a different solution to get an engine which is bigger but not killing the Chuck flight control unit. Another benefit of finding a smaller engine over the original Opterra one is losing a lot of weight at the tail of the aircraft. So I could lose all the balance weight at the front and allocating that one to payload. And that payload goes directly into the batteries. So I can allocate all that weight and fly with two 5000 milliamp batteries on board, having 10,000 milliamp in total. The manual mod for the flight chuck controller is complete, so that we can control the engine power gradually. And the servos are stock and the rods are stock from the Opterra, just the servos have to be still reversed. The Chuck flight controller doesn't know that the servos are in a different position, so they have to be flipped, and I will do that by an internal servo reversal swap. The video will come up soon. I adjusted the fuselage of the Opterra a little bit to accommodate the Chuck flight controller and to have openings for the air pressure sensor for the static pressure and the dynamic pressure to measure the airspeed. So that fits really nicely in the nose of the Opterra. Also, I was cutting a hole at the bottom of the Opterra frame to have an opening for the altitude meter. Here's one of the 5000 mAh batteries. Two can be in this frame in parallel, providing 10,000 mAh in total. We are flying in manual mode on Crossfire, and this is our TBS mini Crossfire receiver talking to the Chuck flight controller over the manual mode we did earlier. Here's the new engine mount with the sunny sky. All the other engines I had on hand and propellers I was testing are discussed in a separate video. I will link that below if you have interest. That video goes a little bit more in depth in what I was thinking and what the strategy was to produce a bit more thrust under lower amps to get enough lift for the Opterra frame.
Welcome to Tango 2.
The TBS receiver is talking over S-bus to the truck. We should have a connection soon.
Telemetry recovered.
And here we are. The TBS receiver is talking to the Chuck flight control unit, and over the manual mode we have 100% control over the aircraft functions, the ailerons, the power output to the engine, and we are good to go to test if it runs. This is just half throttle, a little bit less than half throttle, and at that power input and what the engine is doing, actually we have enough thrust that this aircraft will fly. So technically it flies. We have control over the manual mode, and we have an engine which produces enough to lift that airframe into the air. But we are not quite there yet. We have to do a little bit homework before we are really putting it up into the skies. A prop stopper is on order so that the blades always unfold in the correct way, not producing any vibrations when throttling up. The ailerons need to be fixed, and we need some additional hinge tape. Most importantly, we have to reverse the servos, since the Chuck flight controller has no idea that they are flipped in the frame, and it would ram the aircraft right into the ground when going into automatic flight mode. A video regarding that will come up very soon. Then, before really going to fly, I would like to measure the amps, how much the new engine really draws, and I want to limit that power output, that we are staying closer to what the original engine and powertrain of the Parrot Disco was drawing from the Chuck flight control unit and the ECU. The 4G mod and some other cosmetics and camouflage will probably come after the first flight. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe and see you in the next one.